Have you ever felt like the world around you is spinning out of control? Do you ever react in ways you later regret? Snapping, stressing, spiraling? What if I told you that true power isn't loud, flashy, or forceful, but calm? What if calm is your greatest strength? Welcome to a journey through the timeless wisdom of Marcus Aurelius and the Stoic legends. If you're ready to master your emotions, strengthen your mindset, and live with clarity and resilience, then you're in the right place. Don't forget to subscribe for more content that strengthens your mind, your character, and your calm. Be calm, be powerful. The Stoic Way, in a world that often feels chaotic and overwhelming, the ability to stay calm isn't just a luxury, it's a necessity. But calmness isn't something you're born with, it's something you train. It's a skill. And like any skill, it gets stronger with practice. Marcus Aurelius, one of the greatest Stoic thinkers and a Roman emperor, led not through arrogance or rage, but through discipline, control, and a calm that radiated power. He believed this: you have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this and you will find strength. Let's break that down. 1. Understand what you can control. One of the greatest sources of human suffering comes not from what happens to us, but from our attempt to control the uncontrollable. We worry about how people perceive us. We try to engineer outcomes in our relationships, our careers, and even the future. We exhaust ourselves attempting to shape the world around us into a perfect version that simply doesn't exist. But if there is one fundamental principle of Stoicism that has endured across centuries, it's this: peace begins the moment we accept what is outside our control and focus on what is within. You can't control other people's thoughts. You can't dictate how someone feels about you. You can't ensure every decision others make is fair or rational. The traffic, the weather, the economy, the news, these are all external forces. But how you respond to them, that's entirely yours. The Stoics believed that the path to serenity and strength starts within. Epictetus, a former slave who became a Stoic teacher, put it simply: some things are up to us, and some things are not. If you want calm, if you want clarity, begin with what is in your domain, your reactions. When something doesn't go your way, someone cuts you off in traffic, your boss criticizes you, a friend lets you down, you may feel anger, sadness, or disappointment rise. But you have a choice in how to respond. Will you retaliate? Will you stew in bitterness? Or will you take a breath, see the moment clearly, and respond with composure? Your judgments. What you think about a situation matters more than the situation itself. Imagine a child spills juice on your favorite shirt. Is this a disaster, or a minor annoyance that can be cleaned up? Your interpretation defines your experience. Learn to challenge the stories you tell yourself, especially the ones that amplify stress and resentment. Your decisions. Every day you choose your words, your habits, your values. You choose whether to live in alignment with reason or impulse. While external forces may pressure you, they cannot dictate your character unless you allow them to. When you give up trying to control what's beyond you, something remarkable happens. You gain power. Not the kind that dominates others, but the kind that rules over yourself. In a world spinning with uncertainty, self-mastery is the firm ground beneath your feet. You stop reacting to everything and start choosing what truly matters. That's where calm begins, not in controlling the chaos, but in no longer being controlled by it. 2. Train your emotional responses. There's a dangerous myth in our culture that strength means emotional suppression. Don't cry. Don't get angry. Be tough. But Stoicism teaches something more nuanced and far more powerful. The Stoics didn't believe in ignoring emotions. They believed in understanding them. In fact, real strength lies in observing our emotions so clearly that we're no longer ruled by them. Think of your emotions as signals, like flashing lights on the dashboard of your mind. Anger tells you a boundary may have been crossed. Fear points to uncertainty or danger. Sadness reveals a sense of loss or unmet expectations. But just as a flashing light doesn't control your car, your emotions don't control your choices. You do. To train your emotional responses, start by pausing. That one small act of stillness between stimulus and reaction is where your freedom lies. When someone insults you, don't immediately respond. Observe what's rising in you. Is it pride? Is it insecurity? Notice it. Name it. Then ask, what would a wise person do here? Marcus Aurelius wrote in his Meditations, "You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength. When fear creeps in, breathe through it. When frustration swells, don't act on impulse. Ask what outcome you truly want. Do you want peace or escalation, connection or conflict?" Training your emotions doesn't mean becoming passive or cold. It means learning to respond, not react. It's the difference between a soldier who panics under fire and one who keeps a cool head. The latter isn't fearless, they've just trained their mind to stay calm in the storm. You'll notice this shift over time. The things that used to enrage you will become neutral. The situations that used to make you spiral into anxiety will become manageable. You'll become the calm in the chaos, the eye of the storm. And in a world where many act on emotion without reflection, this makes you powerful, not because you control others, but because you govern yourself. 3. Stay grounded in the present. The present moment is all we ever truly have. Yet most of us live anywhere but here. Our minds dwell on past regrets, reliving conversations, mistakes, and what-ifs. Or they sprint ahead to future anxieties, what might go wrong, what we must prepare for, what we fear could happen. But here's the truth. The past is gone, and the future isn't real yet. Only this moment exists. The Stoics understood this deeply. They wrote about time not as something to be feared, but as a reality to be mastered. "Do not squander time," said Seneca, "for that is the stuff life is made of." And where does time occur? Always in the present. The present is the only space where action happens. You cannot change what you did yesterday. You can only decide how to act today. You cannot control what will happen tomorrow. You can only prepare your mind now, so when life feels overwhelming, come back to this. What's actually happening right now? Right now, you are sitting, breathing, reading. The storm you imagine in your mind might not even be forming. The failure you fear might never occur. The resentment you carry might only live in memory, not in reality. Practicing presence is a skill. It requires intentionality. You can start with your senses. What do you see around you? What sounds can you hear? What does your breath feel like as it moves through your body? This isn't New Age fluff, it's grounding yourself in what's real. Meditation, journaling, even a simple walk without your phone can pull you back into the moment. And once you're here, you'll find something incredible. Peace. Not because life has become perfect, but because you're no longer lost in a reality that doesn't exist. Each moment you spend grounded in the now is a moment of power. It's where calm lives, where clarity arises, and where life unfolds. 4. Use silence as a weapon. There is immense power in silence. In a world addicted to noise, to constant responses, to always having the last word, choosing silence is a radical act of strength. When someone insults you and you stay silent, you show that their words hold no power over your peace. When gossip swirls around you and you don't engage, you prove that your energy is reserved for what matters. When chaos erupts in a room and you remain calm, people notice. Silence is not absence, it is presence. It's a statement that says, I choose my response, I will not be baited. Silence creates space. In that space, you can observe others. People often reveal their true character when they talk too much. By saying less, you learn more. You gain perspective. You prevent yourself from speaking in anger or haste, mistakes that can't be unsaid. The Stoics practiced this often. They saw value in reflection, in stillness, in self-restraint. As Epictetus said, we have 2 ears and 1 mouth so that we can listen twice as much as we speak. This wasn't just about politeness, it was about control. Mastery of speech begins with mastery of silence. That doesn't mean never speak up, but speak with intention. Speak when your words can improve the silence. Otherwise, let your calm presence do the talking. Silence can be a boundary. It can say, I won't argue about nonsense. It can signal to toxic people that they no longer have access to your emotional energy. And in relationships, it can be a mirror, inviting others to reflect on their own behavior rather than triggering defensiveness with retaliation. When you choose silence, you don't disappear. You become focused. You become deliberate. You become immune to petty drama and unworthy battles. In a noisy world, silence is clarity. In a reactive world, silence is discipline. And in an impulsive world, silence is power. 5. Practice daily discipline. Calm isn't built in a single moment of inspiration. It doesn't emerge from a single decision, nor does it arrive as a gift. Instead, calm is cultivated patiently, persistently, through daily discipline. It is a garden you tend each day, pulling weeds of distraction, watering seeds of clarity, and trimming branches of overreaction. Like a muscle, calm grows stronger through repetition, through deliberate practice. Start with the morning. The first moments of the day hold extraordinary power. When you wake up, don't rush into chaos. Don't surrender your attention to noise or stimulation. Instead, rise with purpose. Give yourself 5 minutes, just 5, to sit quietly, breathe deeply, and align your mind with your values. Ask yourself, what kind of person do I want to be today? When you decide that, let your actions follow. Discipline doesn't mean rigidity. It isn't about becoming a machine that does the same thing every day with no room for change. Rather, discipline is the art of consistent alignment, acting in harmony with your higher principles, regardless of how you feel in the moment. It's easy to do the right thing when you're feeling motivated. But real discipline appears when motivation disappears. When you're tired, when you're stressed, when no one is watching, that's when character is forged. Daily discipline is the antidote to chaos. It protects you from being yanked around by every passing mood or impulse. It keeps you grounded when the world is spinning. Imagine a storm. Emotions, distractions, and unexpected events swirl around like wind and debris. Discipline is the anchor that holds you firm in the center of that storm. It doesn't stop the storm, but it keeps you from being swept away. Importantly, discipline is not punishment. That's a common misunderstanding. It's not about restricting yourself harshly or depriving yourself of joy. In fact, it's the opposite. Discipline creates space for freedom. It liberates you from regret, from anxiety, from the consequences of thoughtless choices. When you live with discipline, you can look back on your day with a sense of peace, knowing you lived with intention. You don't have to start big. Begin small. Choose one habit. Maybe it's journaling each morning, or taking a 5-minute walk in silence, or pausing before you speak when you're angry. Master that. then build from there. Every small victory is a brick in the foundation of your inner peace. Consistency matters more than intensity. Anyone can sprint for a day. But the Stoic life is a marathon of thoughtful actions. When you mess up, and you will, don't give up. Don't think in terms of failure, think in terms of returning. Return to your practice, return to your values, return to your center. In time, discipline becomes less of an effort and more of a rhythm. It becomes part of who you are. And then, when challenges come, and they will, you'll meet them not with panic, but with presence. That's the power of daily discipline. It trains you not just to act calm, but to be calm. 6. Resilience is quiet strength. Life does not unfold according to your plans. It tests you. It humbles you. It throws obstacles in your path when you least expect them. There are days when everything feels like it's falling apart, when progress vanishes and pain takes its place. But in the philosophy of Stoicism, suffering isn't something to be feared or avoided. It is the fire that forges strength. Resilience is not loud. It's not boastful. It doesn't announce itself. It doesn't demand recognition. It is quiet strength, steadfast, steady, and serene. When life pushes you to your knees, resilience is what helps you stand again. Not with defiance, but with dignity. Think of a tree in a storm. The branches bend, the leaves scatter, but the roots remain. Stoic resilience is about becoming rooted, anchored deep in your values, your character, your purpose. The winds of life may blow fiercely, but they cannot uproot you if your foundation is strong. When misfortune strikes, many people ask, "Why me?" But this question leads nowhere. It invites resentment. It focuses your attention on what you cannot control. The Stoic instead asks, "What can I learn from this? How can I grow through this?" This shift in perspective changes everything. It transforms pain into a teacher, adversity into an ally. Resilience also means refusing to become bitter. Life will hurt you. That is guaranteed. But you have a choice. You can allow pain to harden your heart, or you can allow it to deepen your compassion. When you embrace suffering not as a curse, but as part of life's design, you begin to see its potential. Each setback becomes a lesson. Each challenge, a chance to develop inner strength. The resilient person is not immune to emotion. They feel fear, they feel sadness, but they are not ruled by these emotions. They acknowledge them, understand them, and then act with clarity. They are not reactionary, they are responsive. You don't become resilient by reading about resilience. You become resilient by living, by enduring, by showing up again and again, even when it's hard, especially when it's hard. Each time, you choose integrity over comfort, courage over avoidance, patience over panic. You grow stronger. And remember, resilience isn't about perfection. It's about perseverance. You will fall, you will fail, but you rise, quietly, steadily, with calm determination. That is Stoic strength. 7. Master your inner dialogue. The words you speak to yourself shape the world you live in. Most people spend their entire lives talking to themselves without realizing it. This inner dialogue, the constant flow of thoughts, judgments, assumptions, and self-talk, becomes the lens through which we see everything. And if left untrained, it can become your greatest enemy. The Stoics understood this. They believed that true strength begins within. You cannot control the world, but you can control how you interpret it. You can train your inner voice. You can teach it to be calm, clear, and compassionate. Instead of berating yourself when you make a mistake, speak to yourself with understanding. Instead of panicking in a difficult moment, remind yourself, "I can choose peace." These simple affirmations are not cliches. They are tools, powerful ones, Over time, they reshape your mental landscape. Most of our suffering doesn't come from events themselves, but from how we interpret them. Two people can experience the same situation. One crumbles, the other remains steady. The difference? Inner dialogue. One says, "This is too much, I can't handle it." The other says, "This is hard, but I will get through it." And they do. You become what you consistently say to yourself. So choose your words carefully. Begin your day by setting the tone. I am calm, I am focused, I don't need to react. When your mind wanders into worry or anger, gently bring it back. Train it like a muscle. You are not your thoughts. You are the observer of your thoughts, and you have the power to guide them. With time, this practice changes you. You begin to respond instead of react. You find space between stimulus and response. In that space is your freedom, and from that freedom comes peace. 8. Let go of the ego. The ego is loud. It craves attention, approval, and control. It seeks to prove its worth to others, constantly comparing, competing, performing. But the Stoic mind is not concerned with these games. The Stoic seeks truth, not applause. Letting go of the ego doesn't mean you become weak or passive. It means you stop needing validation to feel secure. It means you no longer base your self-worth on the opinions of others. Instead, you anchor your identity in your principles. When you detach from the ego, life becomes lighter. You stop wasting energy on proving yourself. You stop arguing to be right. You stop measuring yourself against others. And in that stillness, you rediscover yourself. Not the version of you that performs for the world, but the one who simply is. Ego thrives on comparison. But comparison leads to suffering. There will always be someone richer, smarter, more successful. The ego turns life into a race you can never win. The Stoic, however, turns inward. Am I better than I was yesterday? That is the only measure that matters. When you stop living for approval, you begin living with authenticity. You act because it is right, not because it will be praised. You speak the truth, not because it will be liked, but because it is the truth. This is freedom. This is calm. Letting go of the ego also frees you from the need to control others. You accept that you can only control your actions, not the outcomes, not the reactions, not the judgments. This is not resignation, it is liberation. When you're no longer at war with yourself, you find peace. You stop playing roles, you stop wearing masks. And then calmness becomes natural, not something you chase, but something you are. 9. Make calm a daily ritual. Every day life arrives with its own chaos. Some mornings start quietly, with the soft hum of routine. Others hit you like a wave. Unexpected emails, tight deadlines, traffic jams, or tense conversations. Whether it's a subtle discomfort or a major disruption, every day is a test of your emotional balance, and that's why calm can't be occasional. It must be a daily ritual. You wouldn't expect your body to stay strong without regular movement. You wouldn't expect your mind to stay sharp without sleep or learning. So why expect your emotional equilibrium to stay intact without daily maintenance? Calm is not simply a mood you hope shows up. It's a state you build. Like muscles at the gym or discipline through repetition, your ability to stay calm is a skill that must be practiced. Start each day with stillness. Even 5 minutes of silence before the noise of the world crashes in can set your emotional tone. Breathe deeply with intention, not to escape life's intensity, but to center yourself within it. A calm mind is like the surface of a still lake. It reflects clearly. But when the waters are agitated, even the smallest pebble causes distortion. Throughout the day, life will hand you provocations, rude drivers, unexpected delays, critical coworkers, bad news. Each one is an invitation to react blindly or to pause deliberately. Practice pausing. That tiny moment between stimulus and response is your window of power. It's the instant when you choose who you will be. Will you meet fire with fire, or will you meet it with presence and poise? The world doesn't need more reactive energy. It needs more grounded individuals who can stand firm in their clarity. When frustration rises, breathe. When someone cuts you off, verbally or in traffic, breathe. When plans fall apart or results don't match your effort, or someone's words feel like a personal attack, breathe. This isn't avoidance, this is strength. You are choosing not to give your energy away to every annoyance. You are protecting your peace like a sacred flame, not letting the winds of circumstance blow it out. Over time, something remarkable happens. Your nervous system recalibrates. Your mind becomes less quick to assume the worst. Your reactions slow, your perspective deepens, and your emotional patterns shift. You stop being yanked around by every situation. You begin to live more intentionally, and people notice. The calm person in a room full of panic stands out, not because they shout, but because they don't. Not because they dominate, but because they anchor. Your calm becomes a source of quiet influence. To make calm a daily ritual means committing to it again and again, even when it's hard, especially when it's hard. It means journaling not just what went wrong today, but how you responded to it. It means catching yourself when you get swept up in anxiety or anger and gently pulling yourself back, not with shame, but with compassion. It means setting boundaries around your peace, choosing which conversations to walk away from, which battles to disengage from, and which energies are not worth matching. And yes, it means forgiving yourself when you lose your calm. Because you will. We all do. But you return. You try again tomorrow. That's the ritual. That's the discipline. Each act of calm is a vote for the person you're becoming. Each moment of pause is a statement. I am not ruled by chaos. I am not owned by emotion. I am cultivating peace, not as a performance, but as a way of life. And eventually, calm becomes your default, not because life stopped testing you, but because you stopped letting every test pull you out of alignment. In a noisy world, calm is rebellion. In a reactive world, calm is mastery. So breathe, reflect, pause, choose calm again and again, and watch how that choice changes everything. 10. Calm as power. What does it mean to be powerful? Most people associate power with dominance. The person who speaks the loudest commands attention, controls outcomes. In politics, in business, even in relationships, we're taught to associate power with control over others. But that's not power. That's performance. Real power, the kind that doesn't crumble under pressure, isn't about what you can manipulate, it's about what you can master. And the most difficult thing to master is yourself. Marcus Aurelius, emperor and Stoic philosopher, lived at the center of political chaos. War, betrayal, disease, death. Yet in his journal, what we now call meditations, he repeatedly returned to the importance of inner stillness. Why? Because he knew, if you can't rule your own mind, you'll never rule your own life. At the heart of that, self-mastery is calm. Calm is not indifference. It's not numbness. It's not checking out or pretending not to care. Calm is presence. Calm is clarity. Calm is the ability to respond with purpose instead of reacting with panic. When things go wrong, and they always do, most people spiral. Their judgment is clouded by fear, anger, ego. They lash out, they withdraw. They make decisions they later regret. But when you're calm, you can see the situation for what it is, not what your emotions distort it into. You can lead instead of follow the emotional current. You can act with intention instead of being tugged by instinct. That's power, because calm gives you choices. When you're calm, you can choose not to take the bait in an argument. You can choose not to be manipulated by urgency or panic. You can choose to prioritize long-term values over short-term validation. And when your calm is grounded in who you are, your values, your purpose, your principles, it becomes nearly unshakable. Other people's anger doesn't move you. Their praise doesn't inflate you. Their criticism doesn't diminish you. You aren't cold. You're anchored. You aren't detached. You're deeply aligned, and that's why calm is not just personal power, it's social power. People trust calm leaders. They follow those who don't flinch under pressure. They open up to those who don't interrupt, who don't compete, who listen more than they speak. This is what the Stoics called strength without aggression, power without cruelty, influence without force. You don't have to push people to follow you. Your presence alone becomes persuasive, because calm is contagious. It tells others, you're safe here, you're seen. There's no storm in me to match yours. This is the kind of leader the world needs more of. Not those who rule by fear, but those who model composure. Not those who argue to be right, but those who remain grounded in truth. So how do you build this powerful calm? You build it by practicing stillness. You build it by questioning your first reaction. You build it by prioritizing your peace over your pride, and you build it every day. Every time you choose to stay centered when it would be easier to explode, you're building strength. Every time you sit with discomfort instead of rushing to fix or fight, you're growing. Every time you say, I don't need to control this to remain calm, you step into real power. Because in the end, the strongest person in the room is rarely the loudest. It's the one who knows who they are and refuses to be moved by anything that isn't aligned with that truth. That person is powerful. That person is calm. The calm within. In the words of Marcus Aurelius, the tranquility that comes when you stop caring what they say, or think, or do. Only what you do. This is your moment. To stop being ruled by chaos, to stop reacting to everything, and to begin leading yourself with calm, with strength, with clarity. Be that person. Remember, be calm, be powerful, be unshakable. Subscribe now for more wisdom to strengthen your soul. And as always, stay grounded, stay growing, and stay stoic.